So we're starting off today. We're going to talk about how we're going to build a business plan. And pretty much what you've seen from the first assignment is you're coming up with your business ideas. And what do I want to do? Does it start with, I have been making cupcakes in my kitchen for so long and now I want to start a bakery? Is it, I've been in banking, but I see a opportunity in the e-commerce sector that I'd really love to step out and create an app? And the big question is, as we build our companies and we talk about a lot of the examples that come forward, is what does it take to be an entrepreneur? So we have a classroom here full of people that are involved in ride sharing, to production companies, and fitness trainers, and everybody is there. You know, we kind of live in an age where everybody is their own brand, and we're all trying to make a few dollars off of all of that. So the big question is when do I make the leap to become an entrepreneur? And what does it take to do so? Because we've all done it. We all sit at home. We all, think of a new way, who here has said, hey, I wish they'd invent a remote control that would bring the remote control to me because it's on the other side of the room, right? Silly, stupid ideas like that. But there are things that come forward, and with a lot of the interviews you're going to be seeing throughout the class, you're going to be seeing examples of people who just had that aha moment and things that are just kind of silly. You'll see, like in the Lewis Foreman interview with Inventus, he worked with an engineer. He had a trash can. One day he watched the janitor tie the bag around it. And the engineer said, that's got to take a lot of time. That's really wasting time over and over. The engineer took out his pocket knife, cut a slit in the form of a cross on the back of a trash can, and then stuffed the trash can, the trash bag into the back of the trash can, which I'm sure probably a good percentage of you have trash cans like this at home. He went out, he patented the idea, and at what point did he decide to go out, leave, and make that jump to be a business owner, or in our eyes, a multimillionaire? And we'll talk a little bit about scalability of entrepreneurship, because we hear it a lot in the media. We read a lot of books about it, but we all think, hey, I'm going to start my own business because I want to be in charge. I want to make all the money. And there's a lot of glamour and fame that come with it. And we're going to find out that we probably knock a lot of those right off the bat. And if that's the case, why are people still starting companies over and over again every day? So let's ask the very fundamental question. Are you ready to be an entrepreneur? So the question is what is your risk tolerance? What are you willing to lose if you go into business? Does it have to be everything? Is it all or nothing? Or can you start slow and build up from there? One of the big questions that people have is, I hear this from clients, I hear this from other entrepreneurs, well, I'll just take a second mortgage out on the house. What do you have left to lose if that goes bad? Your home. What happens after you lose your home? Is your idea that good? So what is your risk what are you willing to put on the line, and what level of loss can you take at that point? What's your prior experience? I talked about starting a cupcake company. I will not go start a cupcake company. I should not be allowed in a kitchen in general. All right, it is a fire hazard. But what is prior experience, and what can I use? What talents do I have that I can use to make an economic benefit? And what am I missing to make that happen? And then the next piece is personality. And we'll dive a little bit more into that. So real quick, as we were talking about our risk tolerance, we do want to know what our break-even point is. We want to know, hey, if I put in $10, when will I make my $10 back? When will I make $20? At what point? So that person that went and put their house on the line for, whether it's a $100,000 house or $1 million house, when am I going to make that $1 million back? And you might build a model, and we'll build one today, that says you'll make it back over 10 years. Do you want to work 10 years just to make back the asset or the money that you already have? It's a question for you. Prior experience, the bounded rationality. Here's the one thing. I see a lot of wannabe entrepreneurs come from big business. They're like, I've worked in the corporate world. I've worked my way from the bottom top. I know how to run a business. And here's the thing. We all think we know everything. And really, the one big piece of what your prior experience is, what do I not know? I know nothing about advertising. We'll talk about marketing later, and we think that marketing is the greatest advertising, all these ads and everything that comes with it. It's so much more than that. And as much as I love that and I like the thought of making a commercial, I should not be put behind a creative control or a camera of anything. It will end up looking like some horrible YouTuber experiment gone wrong. So in that bounded rationality, how do we go out and identify what resources we have? As we go into our personality, what triggers people to go into business on their own? Well, loss of unemployment. That makes it really, really easy. I lost my job at the utility company, at the bank, and I have this idea. You're hearing this in the news left and right. I've been brewing beer in my garage for the last year, and everybody loves it. How do I scale that out? It's something that comes from passion, and now you've got the opportunity and maybe resources to do so. Other people come to you with an idea. We get that every single day. You're financially secure to tolerate a little bit of risk and reward. It could be that loss of employment got you a fat severance check, that you're able to say, you know what, I don't need to work for the next 6 months. Let's try out idea A, B, and C. You have little to lose. I make a batch of cupcakes, I try to sell them. If they don't sell, I lose very, very little. I lost a little bit of time. I don't start off, though, making 10,000 cupcakes. See evidence or a path to success or proof of concept. You know it's something that's going to work. You have an idea that whether it's the notch in the back of the trash can. This happens a lot. Motivated by books, seminars. You're all here today and you're going to run out of here and start your own companies, I'm hoping. But we buy into the philosophy of the entrepreneur and what can I do to jump in and be a part of it? If there is something that feels special about it. Big one. Midlife crisis. You know, several of us in this room have had a point of, what am I doing with my life? I don't like doing what I've done for the last 10, 15 years. What's the next step? Maybe it's my new business idea. Observing establishment in the community. Sometimes it's just great to be a part of it. That community could be a need that needs to be fulfilled. And we're also going to talk about businesses very similar to Ex Gratia Brewing. You'll have seen in the interview a pastor who said, you know what, there's a need out there to find jobs for people that were formerly incarcerated, that are homeless, that are looking for job skills. And there also is a huge buildup of all of these breweries around town. How can we start a nonprofit brewery that helps create job skills for the unskilled worker and make them skilled workers? So there's a mission behind it. Hitting the glass ceiling. Sometimes we always feel like that. I can go no further where I'm at right now. Let's try something new. And seeing ideas that have not yet been seen. And how easy is it to go out and find an idea that has not been seen? Just come up right now with an idea that nobody's ever thought of. It's hard. It's those aha moments. And then on their resources. What do we have? We have family. What does family provide? Anyone? Support, right? You don't want to have to come home day after day out with, maybe you have a child with special medical needs. Your spouse may be out of employment at that time. You want to have the support and you want to make sure everybody's on the second page. And as we establish later on, we're going to establish the business foundation. That same piece happens in the home as well. Your friends. Right? Friends are resources. They might be resources for money. They may be resources for education. They just may be your network on who you get expert testimonies from. The community, we've discussed before, and money as well. Where are we going to get money? Do we have a bunch of money in the bank? Do we have 500 grand in there? And if this goes bad, it only costs us 200,000? Well, to some people it isn't that big of a deal, and some it is. So when we talk about this, the running case, let me step back for a sec. We are going to run our own company. We're going to come up with a whole idea together. But we're also the running case that we're going to talk about throughout this entire semester is Clear Collar. It's one of the first cases you watch. It was actually, as you remember from the interview, it is a company that I actually was a part of that came out of this exact same class from Queen's University. And within that, everything came to a great idea. And we're going to explore that great idea next. But that nurse who had that next great idea had a great idea, actually had some intellectual property. We'll cover that later as well. but had to go through, when am I ready to go out on my own? What triggers do I have? What resources do I have? And then take into consider your person or your prior experience and your risk tolerance.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Nexagy Education or visit CasmerWard.com to catch up on previous episodes.